Hi everyone, I'm Irene and today I'll be showing you how to make these beaded Christmas trees. These are so much fun to make. They make a great group craft activity and they make cute gifts. I've linked to suitable materials in the description box below. The required materials are 1.1 inch safety pins, 1 cm sunburst beads, 5 mm ball beads, 4 mm ball beads, 22 gauge wire, and needle nose pliers and a wire cutter. The optional materials are 3 mm by 7 mm rice beads, 1 cm star sequins, 7 mm bells, and a star topper. I've noted the sizes here because my pattern is made for these sizes. However, if your materials are a different size, you can adjust the patterns as needed. I'll speak to how you can adjust the patterns towards the end. First, we need to make a tree trunk and 5 layers of the Christmas tree. First, we'll start with the tree trunk. The structure of the tree trunk is made of 11 safety pins and 11 of the larger 5 mm ball beads. Each safety pin is loaded with as many rice beads as possible. I found this to be 2 rice beads. If you don't have the rice beads, you can substitute them with the smaller 4 mm ball beads instead. Go ahead and load each safety pin. After all of the safety pins have been loaded, we can go ahead and thread all of this together. As we're threading, make sure all of the rice beads are facing the same side. See the eye of the safety pin or the center hole? This is where the wire will go through. As we're threading, I find it's easier to hold everything upwards. Sometimes the center holes of the safety pins can be a bit larger and the wire will actually fall through if you don't hold it upright. If it does fall through, don't worry about it. Just hold everything upwards. Once we form rings and tighten everything, nothing will slip. Once all of the safety pins and the ball beads have been threaded, we can go ahead and form a ring. Notice how the rice beads on the safety pins are all facing the same direction. As we're forming the ring, we want to make sure that the rice beads face outwards. At this point, I like to adjust the shape of the tree trunk to make sure it's a more circular shape. Trim the ends of the wire so that it's easier to handle. I usually leave about 1 centimeter on each end. Now we can twist the 2 ends of the wire together. As we're twisting, the ring should tighten. We don't want any loose beads and safety pins on the wire. See how the beads are still moving around a bit? It's not tight enough. Okay, this looks good. At this point, trim some of the tails of the wire. I usually leave about 1/2 centimeter. Then we want to fold this tail inwards so that it doesn't poke anyone who's holding the Christmas tree. Adjust the shape of the tree trunk so that it's a nicer circular shape. Now the bottom of the tree trunk is complete. Next, we want to flip this over and pass another wire through the other ends of the safety pins. See how there are these holes on the other side? This is where we want to pass the next wire through. For this part, you don't need much wire. I like to take a shorter piece of wire and bend it into a semicircular shape so that it's easier to pass through. We want to pass through the safety pins in the order they are wired together on the other side. Bunch all of the safety pins together and start forming a ring. Then twist the 2 ends of the wire together. Make sure the ring is tight enough. The tree trunk at this point should be pretty stable and you can test it by standing it up and pressing on it. We still want to see a center hole through the middle though, because we'll need to pass a wire through that eventually. Trim the ends of the wire a bit. Leave about 1/2 centimeter of tails. Fold the remaining tail inward so that it doesn't poke anyone. And now the tree trunk is complete. Now we're ready to start making the layers of the Christmas tree. The first layer has 5 of the smaller 4 mm ball beads and 5 sunburst beads. In this layer, I will be replacing one of the ball beads with a bell. I like the bell because it gives the tree a nice tinkle in the end. I'll also be putting star sequins on each side of the ball beads. This adds a nice pop of color since I don't have colored ball beads. And now we can thread all of this together. Once all of the beads have been threaded, we can form a ring. At this point, I like to adjust the shape of the ring so that it's a nicer circular shape. Trim the ends of the wire so that it's easier to handle. I'll leave about 1 centimeter on each end. Then we can twist the two ends of the wire together. As we twist the wire, the ring should tighten. We don't want loose beads on the wire. This is a good tightness. We can trim some of the tails of the wire. I'll leave about 1/2 centimeter. Remember to fold the tails of the wire inward so that it doesn't poke anyone. And now the first layer is complete. The second layer of the Christmas tree has 6 of the smaller 4mm ball beads and 10 sunburst beads. The sunburst beads are in a 2-2-1, 2-2-1 pattern. In this layer, I won't be replacing any of the ball beads with bells, but I will still put the star sequins on each side of the ball beads. And now we can thread all of this together. Once all of the beads have been threaded, we can form a ring. And now the second layer is complete. The third layer of the Christmas tree has 6 of the smaller 4mm ball beads and 16 sunburst beads. The sunburst beads are in a 3-3-2, 3-3-2 pattern. In this layer, I won't be replacing any of the ball beads with bells, but I will still put the star sequins on each side of the ball beads. And now we can thread all of this together. Once all the beads have been threaded, we can form a ring. And now the third layer is complete. The fourth layer of the tree has 6 of the smaller 4mm ball beads and 20 sunburst beads. The sunburst beads are in a 3-3-4, 3-3-4 pattern. In this layer, I will be replacing one of the ball beads with a bell. I will also put the star sequins on each side of the ball beads. And now we can thread all of this together. After all of the beads have been threaded, we can form a ring. And now the fourth layer is complete. The fifth layer of the Christmas tree has 6 of the smaller 4mm ball beads and 22 sunburst beads. The sunburst beads are in a 4-4-3, 4-4-3 pattern. In this layer, I will be replacing one of the ball beads with a bell. I'll also put the star sequins on each side of the ball beads. And now we can thread all of this together. Now that all of the beads have been threaded, we can form a ring. Now the fifth layer is complete. Now that we have made the tree trunk and the 5 layers of the Christmas tree, we can start assembling the tree together. We will additionally need a star topper, 9 or 10 individual sunburst beads, and a piece of wire that is about 25 centimeters long. We will start by threading the star topper. We want to make sure the star topper sits at the center of the wire. Once the topper is at the center of the wire, we want to twist it in place. It should look something like this. Notice that for my star topper, the point sits at the top. This is what we want. I have a hole here in between 2 legs of the star. Another type of star topper you can use is one that has a hole through the middle. You can form a loop over here at the top. If you don't have a star topper, you can substitute it with 5 ball beads. You can create something like this. Next, we'll thread on the layers of the Christmas tree. We want to hold this wire so that the 2 ends are together. We want to treat this as a single piece of wire. First, we'll thread on 2 individual sunburst beads. Make sure both ends of the wire go through the holes. Then we'll thread on the layers of the Christmas tree from smallest to biggest. Before we thread on the tree trunk, we want to fill the center of the tree with some sunburst beads. I have found that 5 or 6 works well usually. Here I'll use 5. Next we'll thread on the tree trunk. Make sure both ends of the wire go through this center hole. And now the Christmas tree is almost complete. Notice that the layers of the Christmas tree stack together nicely to form a triangular shape, and that the tree trunk doesn't fall too much into the tree. You can add or remove sunburst beads before the tree trunk as needed. To finish this off, we want to form a stopper for the tree trunk. We will do this by using 2 sunburst beads. Open the ends of the wire and thread on the 2 sunburst beads on one of the ends. Then we can twist the 2 ends of the wire tightly. Trim off as much of the ends of the wire as you can. And we want to fold this extra tail inwards and upwards so that it doesn't poke anyone handling the tree. And now the Christmas tree is complete. At the end, you can go ahead and rearrange the airs until you get a pattern that you like. For example, I like that the bells are evenly distributed around the tree. Now that you know how to make this beaded Christmas tree, you can go ahead and experiment with different colors and even different sizes. As long as the top 2 individual sunburst beads and the 5 layers stack together nicely to form a triangular shape, and as long as the bottom layer doesn't fall through the tree trunk, you're good to go. You can add or remove sunburst beads and even add or remove ball beads. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button below. I'll be working on more DIY projects and videos shortly. Hope to see you in my next video.